Happy anniversary, Jets fans! What anniversary am I talking about? And well, welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm WA2K99. Thank you as always for taking the time to watch these videos. So in this video today, as I'm recording, it is May 15th, the year 2023, and it is a big anniversary in New York Jets history. Now, what could that anniversary be? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. It was on this day 4 years ago in 2019 that Adamgase won his power struggle with then general manager Mike Maccagnan. Maccagnan was fired, and Gase was promoted to be temporary general manager. Now, I remember where I was at the time when the news broke. It was my late day to go to work. I'm pulling into the parking lot at the college where I worked at the time, and I still work to this day. I'm just going over the first of two heavy speed bumps that I have to do to get into the parking lot. And the news breaks on WFAN, which I'm listening to. I was listening to Joe Beningo and Evan Roberts that we've got a bomb, Evan says. And this is jet-related. Maccagnan is out. And I think I slammed the brakes on. I couldn't believe Maccagnan was out. And I immediately called some of my friends in the Virginia Jets fans, thinking, what is this franchise doing? What direction? We have no direction here. You know, there had to be a power struggle between Maccagnan and Gase. I mean, we knew at the draft as Jets fans, if you watch the video of that time, you never hardly ever see Gase in the picture. It's like Maccagnan was running the whole draft, and it wasn't too long after that Maccagnan was out. God only knows where he has been the last 4 years. I don't think anybody's even heard from him, unless you work at Dunkin' Donuts and, brew the coffee. But Gase became interim general manager for a little while. And then that is what led to the opportunity for the Jets to hire a new general manager. Of course, that general manager was Joe Douglas. And now to see where this franchise is now versus where they were 4 years ago, it is absolutely remarkable. With the young talent, with the drafting that has been fantastic, free agent signings, some have worked out, some haven't, but that's part of free agency. The addition of Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, a very young, exciting roster that is getting primetime games. 6 primetime games this year compared to only 6 1 p.m. games. I mean, the Jets lived at 1 o'clock for the last couple of years, but it's their first Monday Night Football game since Sam Darnold made his debut against Detroit, the first NBC game since the butt fumble on Thanksgiving over a decade ago. But I actually really wanted to take a moment and actually thank Mike Maccagnan. That's right. I want to thank Mike Maccagnan. I know he gets ripped like nobody's business. But to me, I always felt Maccagnan was a better general manager than John Idzik. Not that that's saying much, but at least one Maccagnan tried to win. At least he actually spent money. But what he did in this case is he made draft picks that actually paved the way for the Jets to have what they have today. I mean, think about it. He traded, so Joe Douglas comes in, probably the most successful draft picks that Maccagnan had. You could say Sam Darnold, I know it's not saying a lot, Jamal Adams, Foley Fatukasi, and Quinnen Williams. So thankfully Quinnen has worked out beautifully. Hopefully his extension will be coming before the beginning of the season. But Douglas went on to trade Adams and Darnold over consecutive off seasons. He acquired 6 draft picks in the process. Now here's what he got. A 2021 first, a 2022 first, and a 2021 third from the Adams trade. With the Darnold trade, he got a 6th-rounder in 2021, and then a 2nd-round and 4th-round pick in 2022. Now we know what those draft picks have resulted in, and I wanted to take a moment to just think about it and realize that Mike Maccagnan paved the way for Joe Douglas to prove his genius. So with 2 of the Seattle picks, the Jets traded up in 2021. They sent the 20th, 86th, and their own 66th picks to Minnesota to draft alijahveratucker at number 14. He's played 23 games. He tore his triceps last year against Denver. An absolute stud run blocker, getting better at pass protection. But the beauty of AVT is he could play any position on the field with the offensive line. He could play definitely 3 positions, possibly left tackle as well if needed. And I wouldn't have even doubted if he could have played center. And then also in 2021, the Jets drafted Jason Pinnock, 175, after trading the original 6th-round pick in the Darnold trade. Pinnock eventually found his way as a backup safety who elevated his way to a starter. He played 12 games for the Jets. He was let go. The Giants took him. And, with the Giants, he had a pretty good season. Now, he only played 1 defensive snap in the first 8 games, but after Xavier McKinney had his ATV accident, Pinnock then had the opportunity to start playing and became a pretty reliable starting safety. We'll see what that looks like this year. But still a worthwhile draft choice, certainly a competent NFL player. But the Jets are apparently pretty big on Tony Adams at free safety. We'll see if that's a decision that works out. And then also in 2021, the Jets drafted Jonathan Marshall, defensive tackle, 207. Pittsburgh eventually claimed him, and in the 4 games he was with Pittsburgh, he was never even activated. Now keep in mind, Pittsburgh also drafted Keanu Benton this draft with a pretty big pick. With their 49th overall pick, they drafted Benton. So maybe that spells trouble for Jonathan Marshall's spot on this roster. If he shakes loose, I would not put it past Joe Douglas to try to bring him back to Florham Park. So then we move on to 2022. So with the 10th pick, this was with the 1st-round pick acquired in the Jamal Adams trade. So with that pick acquired from Seattle, the Jets drafted Garrett Wilson. How much more do I need to say? Stud wide receiver, 83 catches on 147 targets, 1,103 yards, 4 touchdowns, 56 first downs, offensive rookie of the year, absolute home run pick. And then the Jets traded the 38th pick, which they acquired in the Carolina trade, as well as their own 146 to move up 2 spots. And with that 36th pick, they draft Breecehall, who probably would have been Offensive Rookie of the Year had he not gotten injured. I mean, what an impact he had. 7 games, he had 80 rushes, 463 yards, 5.79 per attempt. That is amazing. 4 touchdowns, and out of the backfield, he caught 19 receptions, 218 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, he was on pace to hit 1,000 yards running, and he would have been the first Jets running back to do that since Chris Ivory back in 2015. Obviously, he tore his ACL, but what an amazing pick he has turned out to be as well. And with the final pick in that draft in 2021, that was where the Jets selected Max Mitchell, 111 overall. Played 6 games. It was really supposed to be a redshirt season for him, where he was kind of finding his way, putting some size on to handle the bigger opponents in the NFL. Played 6 games before blood clots ended his season, but you did see some ability from him. What his future will be with the Jets, we'll have to find out. But seriously, I do want to thank Mike Maccagnan for acquiring the players that Joe Douglas then flipped and turned into several absolute core stud pieces of this offense. So it was a huge day. We didn't know it at the time that it would be a great day, but it has absolutely turned out to be a fantastic day. Maybe a turning point in the history of the New York Jets franchise. So I want to come on and say happy anniversary. I do want to say one other thing really quick, and I debated if I was going to do this, but this is just on a personal note. I didn't record a full video for about 5 or 6 days. Wednesday, I got some absolutely horrific news financially. Basically, it's a bank fraud situation. I don't want to go too much more into it, but basically, I'm dealing with some very serious financial issues right now. So I'm going to do something that I've never done. I didn't think I would do it, but I'm going to do it. In the description, I'm going to put a link to my Venmo account. If you feel led to help with anything, I would greatly appreciate it. If you don't, totally understandable, but this is just me talking to you, dealing with some stuff right now. I'm going to try to work my way out of it, but if anybody does feel compelled to help, I appreciate you very, very much. So I want to thank everybody, though, for watching, and I will see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.